welcome to the Special Moves Podcast. This is episode 137. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Kukowski and Liam McKelvey. Hello.
Hi.
Yo, hey everybody. Welcome back to us after a week off. We're back.
Jake, you just switched the fan on, mate.
It's been on the whole time. No, it's been on the whole time. Why? Can you just hear it suddenly?
Yeah, weirdly. Yeah, it's just got loud.
That's odd, isn't it?
Yeah. It must want to be on the podcast. Which is, who wouldn't want to be on the
is it gone now?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry about that. I actually put the capacitive mute on, and then I turned it back, and I turned it off, and whatever. Anyway.
I guess everyone eventually.
A lot's been happening since we've been gone, but not really. Speaking of fans, OnlyFans is gone forever, and Gamescom is this week. Gamescom up in Night Live, but we're recording this on a Monday, so we're actually not going to be covering any of the exciting Gamescom news from this week. So sorry to everybody in advance.
I guess we'll do that next week, though, innit?
We still got lots to go through, though, this week. We were just going through it then, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, pretty packed.
Some good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You guys have been playing some games, and there's a fair bit coming out, like a couple of big things that have been long awaited. In one case, extremely, very long awaited. So yeah, there's plenty to chew through. We got lots of emails as well. Thank you everyone who keeps sending them in to DS Special Moves, the inbox there. That's a big help. Please keep them coming in. And if you support us on Patreon, remember you've got a bonus podcast to get for every week as well, which is basically like another half an hour of this excellent highbrow, high value, high intensity,
high in protein, low in fat.
High protein, high in plant protein at the moment.
Absolutely.
Less animal protein in it. But yeah, get your fill of that if you're a patron, whatever that is. But yeah, I guess we should talk about some games then instead of like OnlyFans and stuff like that.
All right, go on then.
So
what's on?
Well, firstly, I think because you guys have played through quite a bit, it'd be nice to just go through some of your opinions first. And I'm quite keen, to be honest, to find out about 12 minutes.
Okie dokie. Well, you know what? 12 minutes, if you don't know what it is, it's a point-and-click mystery game by Anne. Well, actually, I don't know who developed it, but it's published by Annapurna Interactive, which is kind of the big pull. And it had a bit of a all-star cast. James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and Willem Dafoe. They're all in it.
Doesn't Willem Dafoe narrate it? Is that right, or is he the main
character? No. So your own character, the character that you control, is played by James McAvoy with, for some reason, an American accent, and you're married to Daisy Ridley with, for some reason, an American accent, and the only other kind of main character is Willem Dafoe, who is just Willem Dafoe. Yeah, exactly the voice.
He's a grizzled lighthouse keeper, does he?
Absolutely, he might as well. Yeah. It's not even been developed by a studio. It's been developed by a singular entity. Oh. Louis Antonio. So shouts out to you, Louis Antonio. And it's got a lot going for it on paper, right? Narrative puzzle game, takes place in a time loop of 12 minutes. Yeah. All set in an apartment in a kind of like a bird's eye view. It's got an all-star cast, and it's by the publisher of some very, very beloved indie games. Most notably, I think the highest rated game involving time, Outer Wilds, which is incredibly well received. Also Donut County, What Remains of Edith Finch, bunch of stuff. So 12 minutes is on Game Pass, which is how I got to play it. I actually only wrapped it up. Well, I actually started and wrapped it up on the same night yesterday. So it didn't take me long. It took me about 2 hours, 3 hours. And it all takes place in time loops that are 12 minutes long. You can do little things that kind of speed that up. So maybe you can go and take a nap for 3 minutes. Or if you get yourself into an exact position where all the pieces are in place, the game will kind of automatically jump forward until the next happening. So I don't know, if somebody's due to knock on the door in 4 minutes, there's ways that you can speed that up. Yeah. And it's a game that is very, very vague in what you're supposed to do right from the jump. Basically, your first loop is just you spending some time with your wife. She's got some exciting news to tell you. She's made some dessert, and she wants to tell you why she's made some dessert over the dessert. The dessert's interrupted by somebody who calls himself a policeman, knocking on the door, and things go from there. So I can't say anything else, nor do I want to, without it going into spoiler territory. But what I will say, is the game has got some mad reviews for an indie game of this ilk. Hang on, let me just go and quickly check what is good. Yeah, it's getting 9s, it's getting 1s, it's getting a lot of 5s. Yeah. Well, user scores. But it's getting high and low scores from everyone. Publications are treating it, I think, pretty much the same way. I saw a lot of 5s, but I'm looking at a 9 out of 10 here, 8 out of 10 from IGN. PC Gamer are giving it a 5. So it really is all the way. So that's what made me really get into it, because first things first, anything that's that divisive in the world of 7 out of 10 video games, if you're getting a 5 or you're getting a 10, you probably got something pretty interesting to say, right? Let's get that right. Especially if the game's mechanic isn't going to be some sort of like shooter and roll situation, like, because it's going to be the narrative surely that's giving you this score. But well, let me get this straight. The loop, the gameplay mechanic itself, the time loop is tedious, and I think that's what's affecting the scores. You're in this 12-minute window, and within that, there's certain things that can happen if you interact with the environment at certain points of time. But some of those windows can be very, very, very small, 20 seconds in a 12-minute window. And if you misclick, something where I had to pick up a mug for some reason, but I accidentally misclicked and clicked on the spoon, and unfortunately I missed my window to do something, so I had to do the loop again.
That sounds terrible. Let me just say that.
I really think people's enjoyment of the game is probably also affected by how quickly they figure out what they're supposed to do. Okay. So my very, very first loop was eye-opening, and I don't think I was supposed to have figured it out, but I was just being a dickhead. So I'll tell you, I'll actually say this because it's not that much of a spoiler. But I walked into the apartment, and right next to me there's a cupboard. So I accidentally mistook the cupboard, which is like a sliding wall cupboard, a walk-in wardrobe. That's what it is. Sorry, not a cupboard, guys. It's a walk-in wardrobe. I accidentally clicked on it thinking it was another room. I got in there, and then my wife entered the room, who's supposed to greet me, but she says, where are you? So I just stayed in the cupboard the whole time. But what happens if I do this for 12 minutes? And that actually set something in motion, which gave me a very firm understanding of a key part of the story. So I kind of worked from that bit backwards out of
there is something extremely Mr. Bean about that. Some fucking Johnny English level, solving the fucking mystery by accident.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. That's really good.
So, but that gave me a really, because it's like peeling wallpaper, as soon as you got that one little bit, you go and the thread's there. But at first, it might be a little bit like, okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't really find the angle, I suppose, if I hadn't have stumbled upon that mishap. Yeah. So, and the ending is the ending's certainly something. It will make you go, oh my god! I think if you've watched a lot of cinema, you've seen it before 100 times. Maybe not 100 times, but there's one particular film, which I won't say what it is, that it's very similar to, which if I just say the name of the film, it'll ruin it. But it's a very specific twist.
So your wife really is a witch?
yeah, the lighthouse. Yeah, that's my only thing, was if I was going to try and explain this game, I'd be like, oh, it's the one that's like... And because it's so similar to like another piece of media with a very shocking twist, it's kind of like I won't say it's not this, by the way, but like The Others was used loads when we were growing up to describe any sort of ghost story with a twist, right? You'd go, or Sixth Sense or something like that, right? So unfortunately, the ending is not original, but I did quite enjoy it because I just thought people are gonna fucking hate this. Yeah, it's very M. Night Shyamalan.
I was looking forward to this. I mean, they only revealed it not long ago, didn't they? Where was it? Where did they reveal it?
Yeah, was it like the first next gen Xbox
showcase?
Last year.
That's it.
Was it? Yeah.
It was a while ago. Yeah, no.
Right. Well, I've been looking forward to it since that. So I'm disappointed.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. I can't say truthfully that you'd enjoy it if you were really spending 6 hours trying to figure out the mystery. But honestly, if you just happen to nicely fall into the camp of people that get it, then again, Outer Wilds is much the same thing, I think. Where
Outer Wilds has got this kind of physics skill, not skill. Skill isn't the right thing. It's like it's not just knowing the solution in Outer Wilds; it's being able to fucking do the solution, which requires patience and luck and trying things over and over again. So there is like this kind of this physics gameplay to Outer Wilds. Unless I was doing things very wrongly, that's my experience. Anyway.
That bit with like the whirlpools and exactly. So, but still, like if you've like a complete noob to this sort of thing, then I think that's really going to affect your enjoyment. But if you're used to this or you've played something like Broken Sword or whatever, then yeah. But it was pretty intriguing. So
let me tell you what else. Then I played I played Overboard. Which is a new game for Switch. I played it on.
You did play it on the Switch, yeah.
But that was class, and that's the same kind of loopy narrative. Running through the story multiple times to figure out that's really good and tight, and there's like as a story that you play around with is fucking bulletproof. I think it's really really good. And if you maybe have tried this game 12 minutes and you're disappointed. I guess have a look at that.
Yeah, have a go at it. I think the thing about it, this is the thing I can say that's spoiler free, right? The reason that it might be disappointing people, other than the tedium of the loops, is that a lot of it is by this odd logic, where like I'm not like the brightest guy, but I was like this, this is not spoilery at all, but. Obviously, you're in a time loop with your wife. At one point, maybe you want to try and explain to your wife that you're in a time loop, and how would you prove it? Well, there's certain things that happen in time, and you can just like, this is about to happen. There's like this sort of weird logic for quite a lot of it, where you just think, oh my God, how did they not think to do that? Yeah. But it's like slapping you in the face, and some of it, So when you figure out what that twist is at the end, you realize... you have to suspend all disbelief. But yeah, it was such a cool concept. I really hope that there's I know this sounds silly, but I hope there is like a sequel or something, which is a completely different scenario, but it's a 12-minute time loop, the same mechanics. That would be great. And yeah, I just think that they got like all these like actors like to act out this really bad screenplay. That's what I feel like. It felt like, I don't know, somebody's got a famous dad and they failed upwards. That's what it feels like. If it was a film. But obviously as a game, it's a one-man project. So shouts out to you, Louis. Or whatever your name was.
Yeah, because I mean the amount of things involved in that, like from a technical level, is fucking impressive.
Yeah. And it looks great. It looks great and it
works. It's good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Liam, what have you been up to, man?
I played Avengers Wakanda expansion pack, which for
a lot.
No, it's free. It's part of the live service model that everyone loves so much. And it's the third expansion pack after the Kate Bishop one, then the Hawkeye one. Now we've got Black Panther, and so it is what it says. It takes place in Wakanda, adds a new area to the game. Puts Black Panther in as a playable hero, and he's got like his own moveset, his own abilities. Very combo heavy he is as a character. He's all about like staggering enemies, and then like using like support attacks and buffs and debuffs and all that sort of thing. He's a pretty cool character to play, to be honest. Sadly, the expansion itself, like the Wakanda area, looks really nice. Black Panther is a great character to play. But the actual content of the expansion itself is just the exact same stuff that Avengers has been doing for like a year now, where the missions are pretty much all consist of you fight your way through a bunch of enemies in a few hallways, you get to the end, you have to defend free control points from getting destroyed by the enemies. You hold them off, you get a cutscene, maybe a bit of a boss fight, and then rinse repeat, which is exactly the same level of content Avengers has had ever since it came out. And you got to the end game area where it was just repeating the same, like, 3 or 4 different types of missions of defend this area, defeat this elite enemy. And it's just repeating that again. Like, the design wise, it's not particularly inspired, and you can tell they are like heavily borrowing from the MCU films. Like, the Black Panther in this one is almost like for like Chadwick Boseman, pretty much, like in terms of personality, like how he looks and everything. Same with Wakanda. Like, the city of Wakanda in Avengers the game looks almost identical to how it does in the Black Panther movie. So it's like, it's pretty uninspired in that regard. And sadly, yeah, I don't think this is it's not the saving grace that I think a lot of, well, the very few Avengers fans left. I don't think it's the saving grace that they were hoping it was going to be. I know it bumped the player count up to like 4,000 on Steam, and then it's immediately dropped back down to like 800 concurrent players or something. It's like, it's pretty sad, to be honest. It's a shame when the model is like, you know, affects what the fucking game is, where, you know, it really does.
They've already done it. There is already an amazing superhero series, the Batman Arkham series, right? Yep. They could literally fucking rip shit out of that, rip that, you know, base the whole structure, the whole game in the same way that, you know, in one kind of area that's been locked down, and you could go as a bit more kind of, you know, PS3, PS2 era with Arkham Asylum, or you could make it more, you know, an open world. That would work so well with these fucking characters. But yeah, so
like, outside of the Wakandan city areas, the environments are just like industrial lab complex, underground secret lair. Yeah. You know, same, like, just shiny lab with robots everywhere. It's not a great expansion. The villain is not great, although they did get Steve Blum to voice him, and he's always great. But it's literally like, it feels like the Avengers, it kind of feels like they maybe had something for a Black Panther like solo project, but then forgot, oh yeah, we have to put the Avengers in it, and they just sort of like shove the main characters from the base game into this expansion, and they really feel out of place through the entire thing. Like, it is definitely a Black Panther story first and foremost, who the Avengers just happen to be there. And it's still, there's still bugs in Avengers that have been there since like day one, where like characters like T-posing and clipping through environments, not being able to grab onto platforms when you're doing the platforming sections. It really does feel like that this game is like not even on life support, you know. It's like they've already turned life support off and they're just waiting for it to fade away, to be honest. It's
Is this the moment where the Doctor kind of in just frustrated agony just kind of slams a fist down on the chest, and there's a little like bloop?
Maybe, yeah. You know, it's really sad though, because like, I really wanted to like Avengers. I've given it like, this will be like, the third chance I've given it after the initial game coming out, the first expansion pack, the second expansion pack, now this third expansion pack. The only saving grace is it's free. No one has to pay for it. Yeah, but it did not feel like a good use of my time having to re-download all 100 gig of the game onto PS5. It's a really short expansion as well. It's like 3-4 hours tops for the story content. And then, but once you've done the story content, it just goes back to that same old grind of trying to get better gear, get your gear score up so you can take on, you know, raids and heroic missions. And it is the Destiny model where once you've done the story content, it's just back to the grind again. And at least in Destiny, the grind can be quite enjoyable, whereas in Avengers, it's really dull and not so great. I can't see. I think they've got Spider-Man left to do for Avengers, and I think after Spider-Man comes out, I think that's probably all we're going to see for the rest of the Avengers game, to be honest, because I don't think it's been a success for Square Enix. I think they've even been very public about saying they said they didn't even recoup development costs or something. Yeah, it's not been a good look, and sadly, War for Wakanda doesn't really change the state of the game. Sadly,
it blows my mind that game for as long as I've been fucking following it, there's been MMOs, everyone trying to do a fucking MMO, and almost all of them landed on their ass because everybody's just playing World of Warcraft. And
Final Fantasy XIV now, mate. That's it.
Yeah, no, but this is what I mean. I'm saying that this is how old it is. I'm talking like 2008, 2007, that kind of era where there was just, there was in Star Wars, The Old Republic, and all this. And I know that's doing all right, but there's just loads of MMOs, and because it was like a dollar sign thing, and then the same for the single player games having multiplayer, but things spotted on, and almost all of them being fucking shite. But it blows my mind that it happens when there's like so many creative people in the industry. Yeah. And there's just this shit all the time.
Well, it's because it's Marvel, and I think everyone's just worried about it, so that no one's doing anything exciting. But then you'd get like,
it's not the only one, is it? How many?
Well, not even the only one that Square Enix did, is it? Outriders.
So there's so many of them just jumping on the
Speaking
train.
of those types of games, Destiny actually has a big event tomorrow. They're showing off their big new thing. Is it called the Witch Queen? And that's the big reveal tomorrow night, actually.
Is it a giant, like vaguely robotic alien that you shoot for fucking half an hour till it dies? Yeah,
it is exactly that. Yeah. So
the key thing with it is that, like Liam said, like that split-second thing of pulling the trigger feels good, so they get away with it a bit more than other games.
And it's as simple as that, isn't it? Yeah, you can. Yeah, the jumping feels better. So,
funnily enough, Avengers is mostly punching a vaguely humanoid-looking robot for 20 minutes at a time.
And they still didn't get that right.
Twist on the formula.
Yeah, you punch them instead of Avengers. Sometimes you shoot them if you're playing like Black Widow or Hawkeye, but that's about it, really.
It's crazy, and it's interesting to see it slowly fade out. This trend subsiding. At least I hope so, because everyone's had a crack at it now. So let's see. Let's see what comes back. There are a lot of MMOs coming or trying to come out though, innit? In June there was like 3 betas: New World and that other one, Ashes of Creation.
That's all.
Yeah. WoW, and then all that. Yeah. So yeah, it's just crazy, but disappointing then, Liam. Even for a fan of Marvel.
As soon as I finished the story missions, I uninstalled it straight away. Like, didn't even go and like grind out some gear or skills for Black Panther or anything. I was just like, I'm done. Just uninstalled it as soon as I was finished with the story. It was I did not want to put any more time into it beyond that very, very short story mode.
Okay then. So before we talk about any other games, I guess we can maybe we should do some emails, hear from the people listening. If you've got an email, send in any stories you want to tell us, any opinions you want to share, any agreements, disagreements with things we've said on the podcast, please send them into dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Like Daniel Sansom.
Daniel
sent this to us. Hey gamers, here is my sadness. Now I'm assuming, Jake, did you like tweet saying show me your sadness, because a lot of people were saying this is my sadness and things like that.
Oh, did I say that? I said you can send your sadness to Dear Special Moves. Oh yeah. I meant the sadness that we were gone. Not anything else.
Right, yeah. Because
seek help
last week.
Yeah, we are not therapists. Yeah.
So someone sent us an email, and the subject line was "My Sadness," which is like a fucking Daily Express. Not quite the top, not quite the front page, but it's like Colleen Rooney, "My Sadness." Anyway, so this is from Daniel, as I said. Daniel says his occupation is a software developer. Star sign Gemini.
Yeah.
Residence Durban.
Rotated. Yep.
Close to the beach, which is quite nice. Yep. Fitness levels waning. And he says he always pays his taxes on time.
Good.
So Daniel says this: I just invested in a Nintendo Switch, and it's a great little device. But whenever I go to the eShop, I cry. Where are the bargains? Why is Breath of the Wild and Mario still full price?
Yeah.
Get it together, Nintendo. Considering I already own most of the games like Skyrim and Diablo 3 on other platforms already, what would you guys consider is worth a full price must-buy purchase for the Nintendo Switch? Kind regards, Daniel.
The Binding of Isaac, and that is it. It's difficult, isn't it? eBay's your best bet if you want to. You have to buy some cheap second-hand first-party games because the first-party games are good, aren't they? But they just
Well, I've not actually played. I've not actually played many, but I bought Mario. I bought Luigi's Mansion 3, which I played it probably about an hour of. It's good. It's like really entertaining, and it's just got this kind of. I don't know. It's got all of these fucking Nintendo first-party games have got this massive confidence of like they're just completely unlike other things. They're just nothing like Ubisoft games. They're nothing like fucking the Avengers game that Liam was just talking about. They've just got their own. I can't remember a game like Luigi's Mansion. Just the way they've put the camera and stuff like that, and it's just like. There's just a huge like confidence in these Nintendo first party games.
That's what it is. It's the swag. They bring it. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. You can't go wrong, really. I think you pick fucking anything that Nintendo have made, and you probably will smile. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it depends though, Daniel, mate, because like it depends what you want. Because so many of the good ones are actually just from the Wii U ported over.
Yeah. There you go. Mario Kart 8 is an easy one, isn't it? Easy recommendation.
That's good. Yeah. My favorite first party one is probably Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Yeah, and it's fucking banging. And I'll tell you what else is a good one. Fire Emblem, but. Very weeby, so you got to be careful about that. You got to watch that.
Well, on that topic though, anything with tactics like that is perfect on the Switch. Any like real time, any like turn-based tactics game like that. Into the Breach I would buy that full price easily. Into the Breach is
what's that other one that's pretty good? Wargroove. That's pretty good.
Wargroove, is class. There's quite a lot actually.
Probably my favorite like genuine Switch exclusive has got to be Super Mario Odyssey. To be honest. Right. Like that game gave me so much joy and happiness in my life, and I could just play it like infinitely. I never get sick of it.
Jake, I've got your copy of that since for at least a year. I think I've had that.
Yeah. Well, you haven't played it, or I should be happier. I'll
bring it back to you when we go to the
in one piece. It's Ace that. That's a really good one, Liam. I'll tell you what else though is decent. It's not quite an exclusive, but if you want like a Nintendo-y experience, but you want, like that Dragon Quest.
Dragon 11 Quest is good.
S or whatever it is. That's bloody ace that. And it's like it's one of the highest rated JRPGs of all time, if not in the top 5. Like so
I mean if you want to go exclusives, the Xenoblade games are all on Switch now, bar one of them, and they are Nintendo first party, and they are also some of the highest rated JRPGs the first one is. The second one got a bit too anime for some people. But the first one is very highly acclaimed. It's got a definitive edition on the Switch.
I still thinking about the turn-based tactical games. I reckon Banner Saga is really, really good as like a bedtime kind of.
I really like Banner Saga. I haven't even finished Banner Saga 2 or 3, but it's ace.
It's perfect. And I did the whole trilogy. I've tried the first one loads of times on PlayStation, PC, couldn't get into it. But then on the Switch, the Switch is for certain games. The Switch is just makes loads of sense, and that's one of them. So Banner Saga, I'd probably buy.
Yeah,
there are sales. I mean, there are. The problem with eShop is it's shit to browse. I think
I was actually trying to have a look through the eShop before, see it was on sale. Gave up about 3 pages down, just because it's it gets so slow and unresponsive.
Yeah,
that you just can't.
Painful. I mean, the hardware. I mean, I don't know what it is about it, but it just seems like the fucking Switch itself can't handle.
Yeah, I have to look. I have to look at Switch sales using the third-party sales tracking websites on an internet browser.
Yeah, I mean they do sales quite regularly, but you'll see the same sort of. As a general, if you're touchy about graphics. That's one thing I would be wary of, is because I feel like I've kind of been burnt enough times to be wary of it now, where things that seem like they're a bit too good to be true probably are. And if you look at like XCOM and The Witcher 3 and certain games like this, where they're ports, which I'm sure they're impressive technically, and Digital Foundry reckon they're all right, but to me they're just they're too blurry. The text is, just shimmering, aliasing effect of the thing all over it that just is really jarring to me. And that's why I haven't played like Civilization 6 on there, because I'm sure it would be great, but from the footage I've seen, I just can't. It just looks ugly to me. So that's one thing I'd be wary of. But thanks for the email, Daniel. Should we talk about another game? Should we break it up a little bit?
Go on then.
Yeah.
What we got?
Jake, what else you been up to, man?
Oh, I started and finished Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
The base game, I think, very, very quickly. I think it was a bonus pod. I don't even think it made it into the regular podcast because I started it on PlayStation and hated every minute of it. But in true Jake fashion, I did a 180 on that real quick. So, truth be told, I started it on the PlayStation, having memories of playing it in vanilla on PlayStation or whenever it first launched. And I played it, and I was playing in Europe, and it was like I was in Limsa, or whatever it's called, and it was a really empty, horrible, void, boring town. And yeah, it was just, I don't know, but everyone in my work is just banging on about it. And so anyway, I thought I'd get a free trial on PC because it just seems to be a bit more of a PC game. So there we go. Next thing you know, I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it, I'm level 10. Next thing you know, my friend wants to trade with me, and I need to actually buy the game to trade. And the whole thing is on a deep, deep sale. I think you can get it all the way to Endwalker for like £19 or something. So I bought that straight away. Then next thing you know, we're 1 week and 3 days later, and I'm level 53, and I've done Realm Reborn. And last week was a busy week in work. I just spent every second of my day when I wasn't being a dad or husband or a full-time worker bee on Final Fantasy XIV. It is so addictive. And yeah, man, I'm playing it in American servers so I can play with my friends from work. And that didn't stop me, even though there's like a bit of server lag constantly. I'm playing as a summoner, and I'm having a lovely time, to the point where New World's out in like 2 weeks, and I've had my head turned, haven't I? I'm that guy in the meme. I've been going steady 200 hours with New World, and then after 23 hours on Final Fantasy XIV, I'm thinking, I like this hotbar, So I started off as the Arcanist, which is the class that can split into Summoner or Scholar, healer or damage, and it looks really complicated. And I was looking it up like at night time, and it was all like, critical hit chances and all this and all that. But I thought I'd bring it up because, honestly, I've got to tell you, right, I'm playing it in the most miserable way possible. I'm not communicating with anybody unless I absolutely have to. And I'm running all these dungeons with legions of just strangers. And the community is really good. When someone says the game's got a nice community, that puts me off because it makes me think that people want to become my friends on the internet. Yeah. And I don't want a community where someone's like adding me as a friend and I'll feel bad for never reciprocating. So, but what I mean is that people will just literally say, here's what you need to do. Good luck. Goodbye. See you in another world. It's great. Like, my only issue with it is, I'm playing like a damage class, which is like the most basic thing you can do in these types of games. And so like the last quest of the main game is like this duty called like the Praetorium or something. I waited 25 minutes just to get a party to get in. So I was literally like pissing about for 25 minutes just to get in. And then, well, Liam, you would have seen this duty, but the Praetorium or whatever is like 45 minutes of unskippable cutscenes the first time through. And yeah, it was not very fun. I heard that the base game's not even good and the expansions are where it's at, but I really enjoyed the base game until the last dungeon, until I had to waste an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's the common conception with Final Fantasy XIV is that, like, the base game is just like, you've got to slog through it. When you hit the expansions, that's when you get to the good stuff.
Yeah, and I really liked it. The very last area of the base game is very uninspired. Magitech armor and people with different colored swords. It's very boring. It's like a boring hour or two. Well, 2 because of that stupid long dungeon at the end. But other than that, I actually enjoyed the base game. I've been doing some like little weird things. I've been doing this thing called the sightseeing log, which is like a cool thing where you go around the world at certain times of the day, and it'll tell you when you're in like a screenshotable location, and you get one, and then there's loads of cool little things you can get on with. So I just wanted to bring it up just in case I mentioned it in a bonus in a regular pod. I can't actually remember right now, and gave it a bad rep. When I come back now, and I'm very warm on it, and I can see the hype. I can see why it's dethroned WoW, and I can see why it's the number one MMO. So I went in there, like, impressed me, played it on PlayStation, and I hated it. I played it on PC. It's meant for PC for sure. And wow, it's fucking well good. Yeah.
Platform's important, isn't it? I'm always saying that, and I've got loads of examples of games I've tried on like one system and I didn't like it, and then played it on PC. You know, like Dishonored and shit like that was a big one for me.
Yeah,
I tried it on console and then didn't like it. But
exactly the meme here, which I'm gonna stay away from for everybody who's waiting for me to say it, but I won't, is that there's a free trial of Final Fantasy, which is all the way up to level 60, including the first expansion. So I've bought it, and I haven't even got there yet. And I've put I'm just shy of 30 hours. So I've just, smashed it out in like less than that. But you can play it completely for free, past where even I am right now. I'm having a really good time on it. So you don't even have to make a decision. You get all the way up to level 60. The only downside is that, you can't trade, which I haven't had to do at all, apart from my friend wanting to give me like a stupid like little minion pet thing. But otherwise I wouldn't need to do that. And then I think you have to have it before you can join like a guild, or it's called like a free company.
Free company, yeah.
Yeah, my free company's cool and full of nice people, so I like that. But I could live without them, no disrespect. So if you want to try it yourself at home, it's fucking a 30-hour game for free.
Yeah,
it's just very addictive. So I know that Liam has been in and out of it for a while as well.
Yeah, I was very, very close to resubbing all last week. I was like on the edge, like, do I do it? Do I do it?
Yeah.
I might get tipped over the edge this week. I don't know. It's like, it's every time I look at my desktop, the icon's there, the launcher, like staring at me. I think I'm eventually just going to cave and resub and start getting back into it.
You've been playing something else, Liam, as well? I think you've been playing
Diablo. I was going to say, speaking of a terrible console impression and then actually enjoying it on PC, the Diablo 2 Resurrected open beta was this weekend, and I got to play the first act of it. So the beta was the first 2 acts of Diablo 2. So depending how experienced you are with Diablo 2, that could be anywhere from an hour of content to 10 hours of content, because people speed run it to death and have done for many years now. So it's it's not a remake, but it's a remaster, but it's more a remaster in the vein of like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remaster or the Crash Bandicoot remaster, where they've got the base game, but then over the top of it they've layered like entirely new like textures, 3D models, new like animations and all that. So it is fundamentally at its core, it is Diablo 2, but with 3D models, a nice coat of paint, runs in widescreen now instead of 4:3, runs at high frame rates instead of 30 FPS or whatever it ran at back in 2000. And so I first gave it a try on the PS5 and immediately thought, oh, this is gross, because it defaults to like 30 FPS on PS5. Yeah. And so
that is gross.
It is gross. So you have to go change it in the options menu to the performance mode, which it's 60, but then it's blurry as fuck for some reason. So you have to choose between sharp graphics or a better frame rate, which is for Diablo 2 doesn't seem like a choice that you should have to make. But apparently it's there.
Right.
And so I started out as a paladin, and when I did it on PS5, played until about level 8, I think I was. Just went round, did some quests, and it to me anyway, it felt bad to play on a console. The UI is, so they've updated the UI on console to be, controller friendly, but it's a weird combo of like button inputs and then a cursor that you move with your analog stick. And so it's, other than that, it's the regular Diablo 2 inventory. So if you've ever played Diablo 2, you can open your inventory, you've got instead of just selecting, you know, like, I want to equip this new bit of gear I found, you have to pick it up with the cursor, drag it over to, like, your shield slot, drop it, then you've got to take the item you had in your slot, it, drag it with the cursor back to your inventory, drop it there so you can sell it later. I did not like the UI at all, which is a bit baffling to me because, you know, they've done Diablo 3 on console, and the UI was great. It controlled great Diablo 3 on the console. I played Diablo 3 on Switch, like, from start to finish, and I thought it worked really well. Other than that, yeah, they've got your skills are assigned to, it's like, I can't remember if it's, I think it's you can press L1 and L2 to get, like, your skill hotbars. You can assign your different skills to them. Your potions are assigned to the D-pad, and then you've got a toggle sprint button on L3, I think it is, if I remember right. And then, yeah, it's like the rest is just like, even when you put in, like, you level up and you get stat points, instead of just, like, using the D-pad or whatever to, like, scroll down one and press up or whatever, you've got to move the cursor to, like, the plus arrow, hold X to, you know, confirm you want to put your point into, like, vitality and whatever. And yeah, it did not feel great to play on console. So then I went and downloaded it on PC instead, which I found out quite nicely. It has full crossplay and cross progression. So, oh no, sorry, it's not crossplay, but it is cross progression.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
PC and console players can't play together, but if you're playing it on, like, PS5, your character does carry over to, like, the PC version. As I found out when I logged into my Battle.net account, and my Paladin was there, and I was like, oh, cool. So I carried, but then I thought, I'll do a new character, so I rolled a Barbarian this time instead, and went as a big, heavy, axe-wielding madman, just chopping down demons with a two-handed axe.
Yes.
And immediately felt much better to play on PC, just because having the mouse, being able to click everywhere whenever you wanted, the inventory, all the UI is basically the exact same as it was in regular Diablo 2. And if you've ever played that, you'll feel right at home. Just felt a lot better to control on PC. Although some little quality of life changes I wish they would have put in the PC version, because it does have controller support on PC as well. So if you want to play the control pad scheme on PC, you can. But it's still like the old Diablo 2 UI if you're playing mouse and keyboard, where you don't have a skill hotbar where you can assign skills to, like, 1, 2, 3. You still have to assign them to F1, like, through F5 and stuff like that, which does not feel comfortable to press on a keyboard. And then, yeah, it's like, I can't really say much about it, to be honest, because it is literally just Diablo 2. It will please the purists a hell of a lot. So the diehard Diablo 2 fans will like this a lot. If you're brand new to Diablo and you're, like, coming into it for the first time, you've never played Diablo in your life, but you've heard all the legendary stories about Diablo 2 over the years, you might find it's not aged particularly well in the gameplay mechanics. It does feel a bit clunky. It does feel a bit archaic in some respect, but it is still fun. Like, when you get into it, when you start, like, getting your skills, investing points into the attributes you want, you start speccing out your character how you want, it does become a lot more fun. When I was playing the beta, though, there was a bit of lag problem where I would click on enemies to, like, attack them, and just nothing would happen. Like, and they'd kill me anyway. Like, I got killed a few times by enemies just taking me out. I was clicking on them, but because of the lag, it wasn't registering that I was actually attacking them, because the beta was online only, as far as I remember, so there wasn't an offline option. So, and it was meant to be stress testing servers, to be fair, so I hope they sort out the lag before launch, but otherwise it will not make for a fun game to play. But yeah, other than that, it is, at the end, it's just Diablo 2 with a shiny coat of paint and in widescreen. They've not really done a lot to change it, and, you know, but for a lot of fans, I imagine that's what they want, because especially after how disastrous Warcraft 3 Reforged was, I can see why they're being so cautious with Diablo 2 Resurrected, because, you know, it's a game of such high esteem and critical acclaim that if they even change, like, the most minute things, there's going to be like legions of fans who won't be happy about it. So I think they've managed to strike a nice balance between updating it, but also keeping the legacy intact, I guess. For me, it did have the unfortunate effect of, I don't think I'm going to pick this up when it comes out, because I played many, many hours of Diablo 2 when it came out in like 2001 or whenever in the UK. And I mean, I just...
it's out next month.
Next month. But yeah, it's just like, it's Diablo 2. There's not really much you can say about it, to be honest. They haven't done...
fucking get it, that's for sure.
They haven't done anything to change it, really, apart from the graphics. And that's it.
I remember everyone going mental about Warcraft 3 Reforged, and I played it. I thought it was fine. I mean, I reckon the fans. I mean, just there's. I suppose there was a lot to that, wasn't there, where they promised a lot of stuff that wasn't in it and all that sort of thing. And didn't they scale it back or something, or they didn't quite deliver what they promised they were going to deliver?
They were. With Warcraft 3, they were saying like completely remastered cutscenes, like CGI cutscenes were going to be re-rendered, and then it turns out all they did was like take the old ones, stretch them to widescreen.
That's it.
Yeah. It was, they were meant to be like remaking all the character models and stuff as well in Warcraft 3, but a lot of them were like half baked.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes to the expectations as well, doesn't it? Which is what just. From someone who didn't follow any of that and just bought it when it came out, and I thought it was fine, But there you go. All right, we'll do one more email before we go on to the new games. This one is from Michael Nix Walkup, who says,
nice.
Dear Special Moves, I listened to your first impressions of Back 4 Blood. And I think you were pretty... So this is the game we talked about. It was in the last podcast, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of Left 4 Dead spiritual successor zombie shooting game. I listened to your first impressions of Back 4 Blood, and I think you were pretty spot on in saying the game is pretty hit or miss for solo players, but is fantastic with a group. Is that what you said?
Are you asking us, or is he asking?
I'm asking you.
I remember
it was fantastic.
I said because I played it with just randoms the entire time. When I had the group of randoms who obviously just did not care, it was really not a fun time. But when I got into a group where we were all on the same page and typing at each other, cooperating, it was fun. I had a great time.
I remember you saying that. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. I tried the solo queue method when I first got it, and it was just miserable. Nobody was on communications. Nobody was pinging. It was an awful, sad experience. Then later, I rounded up 3 friends to play it together, as I ended up getting 3 additional codes to play with, courtesy of a giveaway. I suspect that anyone who wanted one got one, and it was all marketing anyway, but whatever, I got mine.
That's right.
Playing with a team was a totally different experience in every way. It was so much more fun hollering at one another about an exploding zombie or yelling at a friend who startled the crows. I'd also like to politely comment on some misconceptions that you may have had in the last episode, which I think is honestly on the game for not better explaining the mechanics. I can't remember what this is about, so you'll have to react.
Okay.
You can share copper.
Okay.
It is in the same tab as the ammo in the menu. That's good to know.
That is good to know. Yeah.
I really liked... where are we? Also, you can play on last generation. I was on PS5, but a few friends were on PS4, so that's good to know.
Right. Okay. I knew it was coming out on the old gen. Gen. Current? No, definitely not current.
It is old ass gen.
Old AF. But I just didn't know if the beta was available.
Okay. I really hope they had an FOV slider for consoles. I felt pretty trapped in the narrow field of view that they default the consoles with. Even if this is only for the next gen version, I would take it. I'm super excited to keep playing this in the fall while I patiently wait for Elden Ring to drop. Thanks for the great podcast, Michael.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you.
The fall, huh? So, okay, cool, man. Yeah. Well, it's good to hear other people's opinions on stuff.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's the idea. So Jake and Liam played that, and they've told you what they thought, and then Michael's come in there with his experience as well. But it's, those types of games are I can completely. It doesn't matter what it is. Almost, it's going to be shit if you don't. If the game isn't really good at encouraging you to cooperate with randoms, like Apex to a certain degree at the beginning, from what I remember, and Battlefield, perfect execution of encouraging team play when you don't know each other. But if the game isn't at that level of like really trying to give you a good experience with randoms, it probably is going to be shit, isn't it?
A lot of them are made around like people having friends, and I think they take that for granted.
Yeah,
I really don't think people realize how few people get to play games with their friends. And no one's going to say that online, are they? No one's going to say like, "Oh, I don't play with my friends all the time," because it makes them sound like sad. That's not the case. It's just
it becomes quite a task to try and arrange. Try to get a group for Back for Blood. Try to get a group of 4 people all at the same time on the exact same day with the exact same amount of free time. It's difficult.
Yeah. So
we have a gaming podcast together. When was the last time?
Yeah, we can't even play. We can't even play that new Alien game this week.
No, we literally can't. And I want to play that, and we can't. We can't do it.
I really want to play Aliens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Liam tried to set that fucker thing up, man. That's how we are. So it's I don't know. Just I'm looking forward to seeing how people treat it when it comes out fully. Hopefully people are like impressed by it. I don't know. Hopefully there's a shitload of content. That's the thing that I'm hoping.
Well, hopefully, they've got quite a bit of time to work on it, haven't they? So hopefully they can take some of people's concerns into account.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the emails. Keep them coming to dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Let's move on to the new games, and we did mention it there, so we might as well. Aliens Fireteam Elite is out this week on Tuesday, August the 24th, on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is a third person, I think, isn't it? Shooter set in the Aliens universe, with the same, I guess, similar type of co-op survival gameplay as to a certain level as Back 4 Blood, right?
Yep, that's spot on. Yeah, it's a Left 4 Dead like game where it's a team of, I think it's only 3 people in Aliens.
They made it for us.
Teams of 3, yeah.
And for what?
It's Ash.
Yeah. But yeah, like you go through campaigns that are split into acts, like Left 4 Dead. There's alien hordes that you have to fight off. There's customizable weapons, equipment. There's upgrades, skill trees. It's very Vermintide-y Left 4 Dead, just with some aliens. Which
it's one of them. That's the thing.
It's one of them. Yeah,
it's the fact it's quickly 3 players is fucking exciting. I've got to be honest.
Because there is normally that like, fourth wheel. When you play one of these games, and it's normally some bad AI or a complete stranger who you have to like kind of exactly. So 3 players is cool for this sort of thing. So it's getting okay reviews as well, to be fair. So
I haven't seen this in motion. I've just seen that there is an Aliens game coming out, and it sort of is a little bit like Left 4 Dead and Vermintide. That's all I know about it. But I'm a huge fan of the Alien movies, So and this type of genre. To be honest, I love playing these games with you guys. I love playing Vermintide and all that.
Also, it's getting like 7 out of 10s, which for an Aliens game is honestly quite impressive these days.
Fucking stratospheric, isn't it? It's incredible. I think that this is definitely what I'm going to get. I don't know what platform yet. I'm sort of fancying PlayStation for some reason, but
we'll say the word. I'll buy it on whatever you want.
Yeah. Let's do it. We'll get it played at some point. But I'm glad that this is coming out. I've not touched my PlayStation in a very long time, and I kind of want. Maybe that's why. I'm leaning more towards PlayStation, because I want to fucking play something on it.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the last game I played on my PS5 was also taking out waves of giant alien insects. I was playing Earth Defense Force 5.
Oh.
Which is beautiful, beautiful game if you've never played it.
The last thing I played was fucking Orcs Must Die, which I've barely touched.
I've been smashing Orcs Must Die.
Yeah, still.
I completed all the DLC. All I've got now is the endless content, which you need to get like a certain level. It was endless, but if you get a certain level, then the platinum's mine. Yeah,
that's Jake's heaven. That's Jake's happily ever after. Endless Orcs Must Die. Yeah. Right. So that's happening, which is very exciting. Also, the same day. Kind of exciting for me. King's Bounty 2 is out on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. This is a tactical role-playing game by a company called 1C, who are responsible for some pretty good strategy games on PC, which I have played a lot of. I haven't actually played King's Bounty 1, though. I don't know much about King's Bounty, but it does look
it's very old. I think it's a DOS game, actually.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It's a very, very old game. And then I think it actually became... I mean, I'm working on King's Bounty 2 here, but I can't remember because it was ages ago, and there's a lot. But I'm pretty sure it became Heroes Might and Magic or something like that. Do you know that series that I'm on about?
Yeah, I've played them. Yeah.
It's them. It was the same people as well, I think. It just became that series, if you know what I mean. But they never made like a straight up sequel because they were all calling them like... I don't know, King's Bounty, Warriors of the North, and stuff like that. But this is considered the actual
true successor.
The true successor. It's interesting because I actually played a bit of it, so I'm not going to give you my opinion of it. Not that, just because when I say I'm working on it, I'm just sending it to YouTubers who want it because that's my job. Do you know what I mean? But I played it and it was like. It's very Euro-janky, Gothic, Risen, all them type of like two worldsy type. And then it's got this tactical... The battles like take you to this like tactical battle. So you've got this weird like third-person open world. Yeah, and then suddenly whenever you're battling, it's like that. And then it's not just you doing a battling, but it's like your army. So it's pretty cool. I've had it on and off for a couple of months, but I just never stuck with it. So...
Okay, so that's happening on the 24th as well. Pretty good day so far. And then finishing off is Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts, which is too many words. 2 on PS5. This is a tactical, stealth game about sniping people in the bollocks.
Right, is it?
I believe
Interesting.
So. I'm assuming all games with sniper in the title are about shooting people in the balls, but this might not.
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's along the same lines as like Sniper Elite games, just not as polished.
So that's happening on PlayStation 5. Couple of big ones. Well, there's one big one out on the 25th, which is Wednesday, the 25th of August.
Yeah.
Psychonauts 2, which has been in development for about 40 years.
It's 16 actual years, human years, which is 40 gaming years.
It's out on PC, Mac, Linux, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Developed by Double Fine.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to this. I like Double Fine games.
Yeah, No.
That's how I feel too.
I've actually. There's a couple that I've played and enjoyed. And Psychonauts 1, I can't remember if I.
Double Fine, I like that with me. They do hit and miss, I think.
Yeah, I actually played Psychonauts when I was a kid, I remember. But it was one of these games where I played for probably about 2 weeks and didn't really, it didn't really stick in my mind.
16 years ago.
Yeah, and I was, like
right, which is crucial. So.
Yeah, it's a very long time coming. So
probably still fucking. You're probably still shaking off Knights of the Old Republic too. Do you know what I mean? The adrenaline stuff goes through.
I think about anything apart from Jedi's. So that's what happened. And then Murder Mystery Machine is at the same day on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Cool name, yeah, but it wasn't as big of a big hitter as Psychonauts 2, I thought.
Yeah, Murder Mystery Machine, just looking right now. I was wondering if it was another one of these overboard type things. I tell you what, the graphics look cool, it looks cool, good art style, Disco Elysium ripoff.
Might be good on Switch, that.
Yeah. Could very well be. And I'll tell you, this isn't a game thing, but it's definitely something to watch out for if you're a gamer with a capital G. Yeah. Speaking of capital G, Gamescom Opening Night Live on 25th. Jeff Keighley brings overfilled, overpumped, stretched out 3 hours longer than it needs to be night of gaming trailers. There's some big things already confirmed. Capcom said that they're showing off something. You're actually getting to see Death Stranding there, and there's a bunch of stuff. And there's like 30 games being announced. So pretty cool thing for like the middle of the week, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is cool. So that's happening. The 26th, which is Thursday, has got Spelunky 1 and 2, which is coming to Nintendo Switch. I've never played Spelunky.
I fucking love Spelunky.
I thought one of you did. Yeah.
I'm mad on it.
I like the first one. I've not played the second one.
I took the day off work for the second one, and it's actually it's pretty good. It's exactly the same thing, but you don't care because you just want more of the same thing, isn't it? It's like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. It's just exactly the same thing again. Just Spelunky's great, but it's really an acquired taste. So it's a hard arcade game, not even like a roguelite. It's just like a difficult platformer. I suppose it is a roguelite in a way. But yeah, it's really got something to it, and I love it lots. But
Baldo is out on Friday.
Oh, I remember this. I remember looking at this, and I think me and Liam spoke about it a long, long time ago. Can you remember this, Liam? It's the
I think so.
Switch one.
Yeah,
it's coming to PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
It's the one that looks proper, and I mean proper, like Ni no Kuni 1.
Yeah, it looks okay, I think.
Yeah, it's it's a guy who's inspired by Studio Ghibli.
Oh, I remember this now.
Yeah. Studio Ghibli. Yeah, and Studio Ponok. So it's them and Zelda. Looks like it could be amazing, but I've got a feeling that don't know, like it's going to be hit or miss, isn't it? It's either going to be very good or all style, no substance.
Could be cool. Though. So some of the stills, like the screenshots, look pretty nice.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
So that's happening, and then No More Heroes 3 is coming to Nintendo Switch as well.
Yes.
Hack and slash action adventure game by Grasshopper Manufacture, which is a fucking good name. That's a good name for it.
Amazing studio. I love them to death. It's been a long time coming. This No More Heroes 2 came out in like 2009, so it's been a long, long time since we've had a sequel. We did have Travis Strikes Again, which is like that Switch spin-off.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did it end with the teaser for this or something?
It literally ended with you controlling Travis in a 3D environment in like a debug room in Unreal Engine 4, and he turns to face the camera and says, "That's right, we're making a third one," and that's how the game ends. Which is a very Suda thing to do. I just love Grasshopper Manufacturer. I love Suda51's games. He's a fantastic game director. And there's nothing quite like him apart from him in the industry, to be honest. He has a very unique voice, and I will quite happily play anything he makes.
And then there is one more game as well that I'll mention coming out on the Friday.
After that, how are you following that?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's called Tormented Souls. It's a survival horror
I've seen this. It's Resident Evil looking thing. Fixed camera angles.
That's it. And I'm really fucking keen on that at the moment. I want something that does that well. It's never going to be as good as fucking Resident Evil, is it? But
classic survival horror is back.
It's out on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Interestingly, so there's no mention of PS4 or. I'm assuming it works on Xbox One, doesn't it?
I did see the gameplay. Looks a bit janky, but got promise.
Someone's got to come back and do a tank control survival horror fixed camera thing, and it can be janky, and it'll get away with it if it's good.
Yeah. I mean, fucking hell. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what the old ones did, didn't it? They were janky as well.
They were getting away with it. Yeah.
The medium certainly tried. Did not succeed in my opinion, but
so that'll be interesting. I'll keep an eye on reviews for that because I want to play more of those games. So there you go. Those are the new games. Those are the emails. Those are the games that Jake and Liam played. That's a good update podcast, I reckon. That one, I was packed.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So we'll be back next week to talk about what was it, Jake?
Gamescom. And probably No More Heroes.
Yeah, and
Illustrate.
I'm assuming there's going to be loads of Gamescom shit for us to go through. And more emails, please keep them coming into dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Remember, if you're a Patreon supporter, the bonus podcast is coming your way as well. Just keep an eye on your Patreon feeds and your emails, and getting a regular dose of that. Off-topic stuff. Sometimes it's a bit more gaming stuff. Sometimes it's movies and TV and shit like that.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's none of that. But anyway, it's coming. It's coming at you, whether you want it or not. See you next week.